Detective Michael Harris, a seasoned officer with a reputation for being a relentless crime solver, found himself facing an unexpected challenge that would test not only his investigative skills but also his principles. Little did he know that a routine encounter would change his life forever. Detective Harris was patrolling the downtown area, keeping a watchful eye on the bustling city. As he strolled down the sidewalk, he noticed a woman walking alone. Her name was Olivia Anderson, the elegant wife of Richard Anderson, the chief of police. Detective Harris, unaware of Olivia's identity, decided to approach her. He had a reputation for being overly persistent and sometimes crossing the line, believing it was necessary for solving cases. However, this time he misjudged the situation. He cornered Olivia in an isolated alley, making her feel uneasy and vulnerable. Olivia, resourceful and quick-witted, managed to discreetly call her husband. Richard, concerned for his wife's safety, immediately dispatched a patrol unit to the location. The officers intervened, preventing the situation from escalating further. Olivia, relieved and empowered, revealed her identity as the chief's wife, and the officers quickly recognized Detective Harris. Richard Anderson, infuriated by the news, took immediate action. Despite their professional history, he knew that justice must be served without bias. The Internal Affairs Division launched an investigation into Detective Harris' conduct, uncovering a series of complaints and incidents involving inappropriate behavior. The media caught wind of the scandal, and the story became a hot topic in Rivertown. As the investigation progressed, it became evident that Detective Harris had a pattern of overstepping boundaries and abusing his authority. The trial that followed was intense and closely followed by the public. Rivertown residents, once trusting in their police force, were now questioning the integrity of the department. Olivia Anderson's bravery in coming forward shed light on an issue that had been hidden in the shadows for too long. In the courtroom, Detective Harris faced the consequences of his actions. The evidence presented against him was overwhelming, and he was found guilty of harassment and misconduct. The judge handed down a sentence that included not only suspension but also mandatory sensitivity training and counseling. The case served as a turning point for the Rivertown Police Department. Chief Anderson, deeply disappointed by the actions of one of his own, took swift and decisive action to restore public trust. He implemented comprehensive training programs for all officers, focusing on ethics, respect, and appropriate conduct. As the news of Detective Harris' downfall spread, it sent a clear message to the entire police force: no one was above the law. The incident prompted a re-evaluation of the department's internal affairs procedures and a commitment to ensuring that officers held themselves to the highest standards. Chief Richard Anderson, determined to rebuild trust, initiated a series of reforms aimed at improving transparency, accountability, and the overall culture within the force. One of the first steps Chief Anderson took was to establish a confidential reporting system for officers to report misconduct without fear of retaliation. This move encouraged honest dialogue within the department, fostering an environment where officers felt comfortable addressing issues within their ranks. Simultaneously, mandatory training programs were implemented, focusing on diversity, sensitivity, and ethical conduct. The department collaborated with external organizations and experts to ensure that the training was comprehensive and effective. The media, initially critical of the department, began to take note of the positive changes being made. Chief Anderson, often in the spotlight, used the opportunity to communicate openly with the public. He held press conferences, addressing concerns head-on and outlining the steps being taken to rectify the situation. The transparency and commitment to change earned him both respect and support from the community. As for Detective Harris, the fallout from the trial and subsequent suspension weighed heavily on him. It was a humbling experience that challenged him to reflect on the impact of his behavior on others and the community he had sworn to protect. During his suspension, Detective Harris had ample time to consider the path he had taken and the damage he had caused. It was a period of self-discovery and, for the first time, he began to understand the gravity of his actions. As Detective Harris worked through his rehabilitation, he was required to engage in community service. This provided him with an opportunity to directly confront the consequences of his behavior, working alongside community leaders to bridge the gap between law enforcement and the citizens they served. He participated in outreach programs, attended community meetings, and actively sought ways to rebuild the trust he had lost. Back at the police department, the reforms initiated by Chief Anderson were starting to yield positive results. Officers embraced the training programs, fostering a more inclusive and respectful environment. The department's relationship with the community began to mend, and citizens noticed a positive shift in the way officers interacted with them. One of the key initiatives Chief Anderson spearheaded was the creation of a community advisory board. Comprising representatives from various backgrounds, the board acted as a bridge between the police department and the community. It provided a platform for open dialogue, allowing citizens to voice concerns and officers to gain insights into the community's perspectives. Detective Harris, having completed his suspension and counseling, returned to the force a changed man. The transformation was evident in his demeanor and actions. He actively participated in the new training programs, embracing the opportunity for personal and professional growth. The reforms within the Rivertown Police Department, coupled with Detective Harris' personal transformation, had a lasting impact on the city. The once divided relationship between law enforcement and the community began to heal. Citizens, once wary of the police, started to see officers as partners in ensuring the safety and well-being of their neighborhoods. Chief Anderson's leadership, marked by transparency and a commitment to change, earned him accolades within the city and beyond. The Rivertown Police Department became a case study for other law enforcement agencies grappling with issues of misconduct and accountability. The city of Rivertown, once marred by the actions of one officer, emerged stronger and more united. The lessons learned from this challenging chapter in its history became the foundation for a more just, accountable, and compassionate police force. The legacy of Detective Harris' redemption became intertwined with the ongoing narrative of a city determined to learn from its past and build a better future.